Like my new office, we bought a small company in Park City, and with getting everything integrated and now with ski season, I've been slammed. Okay, so with the next few videos, we're actually gonna be going back in time. Remember when I had the 4Runner? Well, something I had regretted putting off as long as I did was regearing it. Regearing is something that many people had told me that it was one of the things that they'd wished they had done a lot sooner. And I gotta say, I felt the exact same way once it was done. I was actually really intimidated by it, but I worked with Agility Customs down here in Salt Lake. I think Sandy, Murray? Where is it at? Anyway, they completely demystified the whole process. They made it really, really simple. I just brought the 4Runner and the gears. I mean, they did it. I mean, I didn't have to do anything, but it just, like, it was something I was intimidated by, and I put it off for a long time. They made it really easy, and I was super glad that I did it. So if this is something you're thinking about doing, here we go, back in time. Regear. It's probably like one of the things that I have been probably recommended, like it's been like the most recommended thing for me to do. Everybody I've talked to that has regeared their vehicle has said it was, even though it seems like an expensive like modification up front, they said it's the best bang for the buck. It's the thing that they wish they would have done first. So I'm not even going to try and waste your time with describing the physics of gearing and how it all works. You just need to Google like how gearing works and why, because I'm just like not even close to being qualified to explaining it to you. But the thing that's exciting to me is that we are putting 488s, 4.88, that's like gear terminology, in the 4Runner. I think from the factory the 4Runner is 373s or something like that. But anyway, 488 has been recommended to me. I think you could go as big as the 35-inch tire and still be like sort of like in an okay arena. This is probably a little more than what I really need for my needs, but when I picked this I was trailering, and from what I've heard, like this is gonna be fine too. There's a lot of landscape work happening right now apparently. I don't know if there are any other gear providers, but like everybody, and I mean everybody that I've ever known to regear has gone with, it's heavy, Nitro Gears. I wanted to say thank you real quick for Nitro. I spent a lot of time with them trying to figure out what to do and how to do it, and they've been kind enough to work with me a little bit here. And thanks guys. And Chris, if you're watching this, thanks. Originally I was gonna go up there to Washington is where they are, I think, and get the work done there. They've got a shop there. I just don't have the time to go all the way up there. So in looking for a shop here locally, they recommended a shop, sorry for the swaying, a shop called Agility Customs, Agility Off-Road or something. Anyway, apparently they're working on the Stradman's 6x6 Jeep Gladiator Elephant swap thing. It may be there, by the way, but it may not. Anyway, they're gonna do the work for us, and we're gonna go down into the Salt Lake Valley and drop the 4Runner off to them. And they're gonna do the work tomorrow and Thursday, hopefully to pick it up Thursday evening or Friday morning, as long as everything goes okay, and I'm super duper excited. But I wanted to do like sort of a battery of tests to try and like, I don't know, document a comparison of like pre-gear, after gear, like whatever. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Sort of one of the tests is that, like whenever you're like in park, for instance, and then you put your foot on the brake, you put it in drive, and you let your foot off the brake, how much is the vehicle going to move? Foot on the brake, got it in reverse, letting my foot off the brake now. Not moving, not at all. Actually, we're going forward just a hair. I'm gonna touch the gas. Barely touching it there. Okay, so now that we've got the vehicle turned around, we're gonna do the same thing, only putting it in drive. All right, foot on the brake, got it in drive, letting my foot off the brake now. We went backwards. All right, I'm gonna hit the gas just a little bit. That's pretty interesting. Let's go try it like someplace level and see what the difference is. I think this is a little more level. What about you? All right, so let's line this up here. All right, so I'm in park. Foot's on the brake. Now I'm in drive. I'm gonna let my foot off the brake. Let's see what happens. Not much. I mean, a little bit, but not much. All right, so I need to be slightly in front of the tire. All right, that's it. I did give it just a tinge of gas there because there was like a little bump. Is this lighting any better or is it worse? Can't really tell. Not a really great time to shoot. Let's try it in 4 high. 4 high. You think 4 high would make a difference? I think it'd make a little difference. I'll be right back. Alright, so right now it's in park. Foot on the brake. Got it in drive. I'm gonna let my foot off the brake right now. I'd say a hair more than 2-wheel drive because, you know, the front has like power going to it. Okay, let's try 4 low. Okay, got it in 4 low. It's in park. Foot on the brake. Now it's in drive. I'm gonna let my foot off the brake. Let's see how it does. Oh, you take it out of 4 low, put it in 2 high, take it out of 4 high. All right, we're good to go. Sorry for the shaky. It'll smooth out in a sec. So in trying to like come up with like some comparisons on before and after, like those were the sort of the tests that I've been told about. Like you can kind of compare, it's more quantifiable if that makes sense. But I wanted to take a second to describe kind of like what it's like to drive the vehicle right now. And so, you know, for instance, right now I'm going downhill and I'm going 40 miles an hour and I'm at 1500 RPMs in 4th gear. So 40 miles an hour, 1500 RPMs, 4th gear. So right now I'm at 35 miles an hour, 5th gear, because I made it go into 5th gear manually, and I'm like at 11 or 900 RPMs. Okay, so just like poking around town, I mean, it's just like not very responsive, right? And you kind of expect that, of course, with all the weight, but that's also sort of where the gearing, you know, the re-gear kind of comes in. You know, we've talked about this before. I'm not expecting for this to be a race car, but it's like when you do floor it, and it's kind of cheating because I'm going downhill, but when you do floor it, that's a sweet ambulance van, old ambulance van thing. It's just like you can really tell, you can really feel how hard the vehicle is working to get its butt, you know, to get it going. Of course, uphill, I mean, it's like fighting a losing battle. You know, certain grades, even like with the trailer, it's hopeless. But even without the trailer, certain grades are like just almost impossible to go up. And I can definitely, like, I've had experiences where I'm on the highway going 65 and I'm flooring it and we're going up a certain grade, I don't know, 7 or 8% grade, and it's just like, I got nothing left. All right, here we go. I'm flooring it, by the way. All right, 42, 2nd gear, 4,000, 4,500, 55, 5,000, 60, somewhere around there. All right, speed limit 65, and I'm like going right at 65. So let's just stop accelerating there. And so I'm kind of on level ground, 66 miles an hour, 65, and like 1,800 RPM. Fifth gear. Now I'm going uphill. So I'm going up 40 back behind Park City, gonna come up around north of Park City and down into the valley to wherever agility is, Sandy or Drape or whatever. I can't ever get the city straight down there. There's so many of them. Going up, I don't know what grade I'm at, but this is a pretty decent grade. Usually I'm running pretty good RPMs, probably third gear. Yeah, going up this hill. Yeah, so, okay, so I'm in third gear at 66, 3,800, 3,900 RPM. I'm flooring it, by the way, and I'm at 69 and not accelerating. Maybe I'm accelerating a little bit now because I'm kind of coming up over a crest and a bump. Whee! Okay, whoops. All right, fourth gear, fifth gear, kind of flat up here at the top of this hill, going 70, right at 68, right at 1,900 RPM. So right now going third gear, 70, 4,000 RPM. Okay, so let's do 60 miles an hour, kind of level downhill. We're at 60, fifth gear, and 1,600 RPMs, okay? Fourth gear, and we're 60 and about 2,400 RPMs. Third gear, 60, 3,400 RPM, 3,500, somewhere around there. Let's see here. Yeah, 3,400 RPM, 60, third gear. So hopefully that gives you and us a good comparison. So how long does like a gear install take typically?
So typically on a Toyota it ranges anywhere from about a day and a half to a full 2-day job.
Focus. There we go. What's involved? So you take the whole thing apart, right?
Yeah, so the rear axle will, you know, pull the wheels off, pull the brake drums off, slide the axle shafts out, pull the third member out. The front, you've got to disassemble the entire front suspension and then drop the entire front differential out of the vehicle.
And then like how many like labor hours is that? Like 2 days, like 2 full days?
2 full days, so
yeah.
You're about 16 labor hours.
Nice. How many of these do you guys, you do a lot of Toyotas? How many of these do you think?
So we do, of the newer Toyota stuff, you know, Tacomas, 4Runners, we do probably 4 or 5 a month.
4 or 5 a month?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Mostly like locals?
All locals.
Or people, all locals?
Yes.
Well, so what are some of the other things that Agility has done in the past?
So Agility in the past, you know, we do anything from like a full tube chassis car, you know, similar to the one I'm standing in front of right now. This one actually got rolled and we had to replace the whole top half of the car.
Wow.
So all this is, you know, new tube work and stuff. So I mean, literally anything. This chassis over here belongs to a 2013 Jeep Wrangler. We're actually gonna take the 1968 Scout body that's right behind us here and set it on the newer JK chassis just so we can get an old Scout to, you know, ride and handle and steer like a new Jeep does.
Do you guys do mostly like custom work, or do you guys do a lot of stuff on like just like regular Jeeps that somebody bought?
We do, you know, the typical what we call soccer mom mods around here, budget boosts, you know, stuff to just make your Jeep look pretty, all the way up to, you know, whatever you can dream up we can build. So. And
you guys have like a rear steering rig that you built too, right?
We've got a 2013 4-door Wrangler that we actually turned into a truck, chopped it all up, and made it so it has 4-wheel steering. So the front's still controlled by your regular steering wheel, and the rear's controlled with this joystick here. So, I mean, just left is left, right is right.
I mean, I guess it's just got to take getting used to driving with it, right?
Right, so if you're doing over maybe 15 miles an hour, don't even touch the rear steer.
Right.
It gets scary in a hurry.
Bye-bye, Swell Runner. Man, this is super, super, super exciting. I've never done anything quite like this. And you wanna know the other thing I'm really, really, really excited about? Is the fact that like, kind of have this like cool opportunity to like, work with like a real 4-wheel drive shop that like really knows how to do this kind of stuff. Hey, hot stuff.
So are you done now?
Hey.
We're going to Chick-fil-A.
Hi.
Dad, can I stay up here?
You wanna go?
Can I stay up here?
No, get out. Mom's driving. Mom's riding. All right, it's done. It's done. I'm here. It's done. I'm like, I want to drive it. I want to see what's different. Okay, so right off the bat, I feel like it moves more whenever I let my foot off the brake. I'm gonna actually do some good side-by-side comparisons later, not right now. But right now, I wanted to record my impressions. So one of the things, he said that it was gonna be maybe a little loud. You might hear the gears, maybe whining, you know, the gears. I don't feel like I hear anything, but I'm also not like super sensitive to like noises and stuff like that. I'm super anxious to see what the RPMs are going to be at different speeds. I'm also super anxious to see what it's going to be like, not only on the highway, but going up Parley Summit, Parley Summit, I don't know what it's called, but going up from Salt Lake to Park City, because I'm climbing an elevation. With the gearing being different, my RPMs are gonna be higher, but I'm gonna be more in like the power range. Does that make sense? Oh man, traffic. I can tell you this, right now, the way it feels off the line, like when you punch it, it feels definitely like significantly more punchy. Before, when you'd, you know, punch it off the line, it was like, and I don't know if I should be flooring it right now, so I'm not like totally hot dogging it, but I mean, it's not a race car, but it definitely feels more punchy, which is good. All right, so 5th gear, right at 70 miles an hour, 69, we're at like 2,500 RPM. So probably if I could bump it up over 70, it'd be like 2,600 RPM. Come on, get up there. Up to 70, there we go. Yeah, okay. So bringing it down to, you know, 65, we're at 2,400 RPM, 24. Okay, so like at 60, we're at 2,200 RPM. And this is in 5th gear. Today's Saturday, November 23rd. I've had the gearing for a couple of months now. It's been awesome, actually. If you're thinking about getting it, you gotta get it. Let's do some of the test batteries. Let's do some of the tests that we did before we did the gearing. Okay, so I'm in drive, and I've got my foot on the brake. I'm just gonna let go. Gave it a little bit of gas, put back on the brake, I'm going to let go again. That doesn't really move. Okay, so that test, probably not that big of a difference. Let's go back up to the place where we did some off-pavement testing. Oh no! Well, I don't remember being close as early last year, but maybe, I don't know. Let's find a new spot. Okay, this spot's not perfect, but it'll do. Okay, first test. 4 high, pretty flat, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm in drive, I got my foot on the brake. I'm just gonna let go, see what happens. You say we put it in 4 low, see what happens. Got it off the brake. Okay, got it in 4 low. It's in park. Foot on the brake. Now it's in drive. I'm gonna let my foot off the brake. Let's see how it does. Okay, got it in 4 low. It's in park. Foot on the brake. Now it's in drive. I'm gonna let my foot off the brake. Let's see how it does. I'm gonna let my foot off the brake. Okay, so I realized that doesn't really help. I will tell you this though. I drove it for several months. we got the regearing. It was regeared in August, mid-August, and I actually sold the 4Runner in like late November. So what is that? 3 months? Did a few road trips, including a trip to Ouray. And the next series of videos, 2 or 3 videos maybe, are us in Ouray, Colorado. We got to go again in late August. Actually, Black Bear just opened like a couple of days before we got there, and a 4Runner rolled like the day before we did it. It was kind of a crazy, like I'd never done Black Bear before. Frankly, probably won't ever do it again. A little too much for me, too much for this old guy. But let me talk about the gearing. Okay, impressions of the gearing. Again, like I said earlier in the video, this is something that I wish I would have done a long time ago. It really did give me a lot of life back in the 4Runner. The 4Runner still lacks power. I think, had I to do it all over again, within 20 or 30,000 miles of the 4Runner, getting the 4Runner, I would have re-geared and I would have supercharged it. I think that would have been a really amazing combination to give it a lot of really, really good performance. Actually, the new owner of the 4Runner, Clint, they think that they're gonna supercharge the 4Runner. I think that's a great decision. I think there's still plenty of life left in that motor, maybe another 150, 200,000 miles left in that motor, even supercharged from what I'm told. But my impressions on gearing, I think it was a really, really good bang for the buck. I mean, we drop, $1,000 to $2,000 on mods for these things all the time. I think the gearing costs about $1,200. Don't quote me on these prices, and the install was about the same. So all in, around $2,400, $2,500. There's some extra costs in there in gear oil and stuff like that, but I mean, I still stand by it. I'm not a technical person. I am the wrong guy to give you the science behind how it works, but I will tell you that it made the drivability of the 4Runner significantly better. I would hands down, without a doubt, do it again. Also, as a side note, driving that thing in 4 low with the gearing, the new gearing, it was like a rocket ship. You'd put it in 4 low, you'd gun it, and it was awesome. Guys, thanks for watching. Really, really appreciate your patience with me working on life and being busy, like working, and also trying to keep the content going. And I'm really excited to share some of the content that I have, not only from the Ouray trip with the 4Runner, but also we did Sedona. Spent a couple nights in Sedona with the Prospector. It's not really a Prospector, but it's kind of like a Prospector. And I've got a lot more planned. Got a Moab trip planned next month. Next month? Yeah. Gosh, it's coming up real soon. And we've got quite a few other things, and I cannot wait to explore Utah this summer, because I completely let summer slip through my hands last year. And yeah, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, make sure you watch the next video, make sure you tell your friends and share it and all that other stuff, and we'll see you in the next video.